All right, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable meditation posture. Feet flat on the floor and have your knees about a hip's width apart. And just move inward. Leave the day outside the door. Take a nice deep breath as you settle. Feet flat on the floor. Really feel your the soles of the feet, the sides of the feet, the big toe mound, the little toe mound. Wiggle your toes around. Feel the toe pads on the ground. So if you have chairs where your legs aren't quite reaching, you can always put like, cushion underneath your feet. And be sitting right on top of your sits bones. Your hands can be anywhere in your lap that's comfortable. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, and it stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Putting some space there in between the vertebrae. Can lengthen the back of the neck. So really, I find also too, if they talk about in the text, if your chin is raised, create some agitation in the back of the neck. Try and lengthen the neck. And go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead. And the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, back of the tongue. Relax the temples, back of the head, back of the neck. Allow the shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. Be aware if there are sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow with the mind. And notice the thoughts that are arising this evening and just check them. Allow them to be there, and then perhaps try and put some space in between. And just be objective about what you're seeing, trying not to follow a story. Make up a story. Make sure you're not being too hard on yourself. And just sort of let it go. And I like to imagine letting some of these thoughts go on these like white fluffy cloud or a beautiful white lotus, and just allow them to float away. And then bring to our mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we don't like so much, and our strangers. And imagine they can all change place at any time. And then think they're all equal in their wish to be happy, and their wish to be free from suffering, and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So I think with this practice we're doing, this Vajrasattva, this purification practice, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And you know, purification is a word that sounds a little bit, I mean, if you've been brought up in the Catholic or the Christian, have a Christian or Catholic background, and I don't know what the other religions might do, I just am familiar with what I know from Australia, is that, you know, it sounds a bit, well, you got something you need to purify kind of thing. This is more about, I feel, and Yangtze Rinpoche mentioned this when he came to San Francisco, this is about healing. So this purification process it's a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind. So we equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So here's our beautiful Buddha. So we're not looking for a higher power or someone to forgive us or take our pain away. We're looking for someone who can give us the methods that we can use to purify. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant and blissful white light, almost like a hologram. And he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm we have ever done to any living being with our body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and flick on the switch, the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So just as the light hits your heart chakra from Vajrasattva's heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, all of this is instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita didu me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Dida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita. Dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hompe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your omniscience have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. It just kind of rounds everything up, seals it with this decision to try and refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. Without making some kind of decision like this, we're not going to move forward, really. We can do all that practice, all those mantras, and then we don't make a determination to make anything happen. We're just going to keep going over, doing the same old things over and over again. So one of my teachers calls it habit energies. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm, becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think if there's something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. And then this determination to not do harm is what gives us strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche used to recommend to meditate on an emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, whether you've done lots of advanced teachings on it or whether you really haven't even heard of the concept before, or somewhere in between, just place your mind there, even if all you understand is the word emptiness. So what they're talking about is all phenomena. They call it empty, but what they mean is it's just dependent arisings, just cause and effect. One thing can't happen without the other. And these things don't exist from their own side. So the things that appear to us as real are not necessarily the way we think they are. And you know that from, you read an email from someone and it says something, and then somebody else can read it and get a completely different interpretation. And often it depends on the state of your mind on that particular day. So depends on, as our mothers used to say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or grandmas. Okay, let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And let's just make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and to be able to continue to teach for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then for all of our precious teachers. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you, especially to the people on the East Coast who want to go to bed now, and then the middle part of the country who want to go to bed now, and the western part of the country who want to go to bed now. So everyone wants to go to bed except for Gabriel and Jay. All right.
I'm just trying to stay awake.
Well, then Gabriel and Jay might want to go to bed as well. All right, everyone, you guys. Good night. Lots of love. I'll see you tomorrow morning with Venerable Rabina. Okay, bye. Bye.